早上好，女士们、先生们，大家好，我名字叫康丽，我是美国总公司派过来的美国企业文化培训班教师。为了大家一个很热烈的欢迎，我们今天就花这一天在一块儿谈着什么呢？谈着我们怎么能够和我们从美国来的那些同事合作的更愉快、更容易、更高兴、更有效。这个是一个非常值得的一个目标，大家都同意，对吗？So I'm Janet Karmosky for the benefit of those who are from America, from the headquarters today. Thank you for coming out to Shanghai. I have just introduced myself to the staff as their teacher of American enterprise culture, and I'm looking forward to having a wonderful day here today. I'm going to go back and forth in Chinese and English since we do have a simultaneous interpreter. That makes my life a lot easier. But here is the main subject of the conversation today. As someone who has lived my life as the outsider, the foreigner in a Chinese enterprise, I'm very aware of what it feels like to be the person sent from the US to put the culture in place, to make the operations run to our standards, and to translate that into a system of behaviors, of activities that are relevant in a Chinese context. 20 years old and a new graduate from university, I was willing to get on a plane, go over to China, and just seek my fortune, and I stayed. Here we are, 20-some years later, and China is no longer a remote backwater that only people who didn't like the Wharton School and transferred into the College of Arts and Sciences go to have a little adventure. China is now probably the second most powerful nation in the world. We are inextricably connected through the global financial system, through economics, through geopolitics, through competition for energy, talent, capital. The Chinese are not going away. The Chinese have a profound consciousness of the United States. They look at us as a nation with 300 years of history compared to their 5,000 years of history, and have to concede that we're onto something to have amassed so much power, so much wealth in such a short period of time. It's important to penetrate the Chinese psyche and know that China has been the most powerful, economically advanced, and technologically developed country in the world several times. To them, history is cyclic. You rise, if you're a great nation, you rise to that position, and you hit it as long and as hard as you can, but sooner or later something is bound to shift. And they look at us, and we have this very linear view of the world, and we believe that since our inception as a nation, we've progressed and progressed and progressed. It's not strictly speaking true. America's had its ups and downs even in our short history, but they view us as being tremendously overconfident. We believe that our success and our power as a nation is going to remain unchallenged. And at the same time, the Chinese feel that they're not getting nearly enough credit for the contribution that they make to keep the world a stable and prosperous place.
我名字叫康丽，我是即便的会员。
Hi, good morning to everybody. I'm Janet Karmosky. We are here today to talk about managing our relationships with the Chinese. How do I feel comfortable talking about managing relationships with the Chinese? Who am I to stand here? Your fine organization has several thousand employees in China, from what I understand. You've been active in China for many years. What do I personally have to say that everyone in the room does not already know? Well, I think we're here today because we understand that the way the Chinese view each other, the way they view us, the way they view time, money, the allocation of resources is different from the way we do. So in addition to moving goods and money back and forth, if we want to be more effective, if we want to be more productive, if we want to enjoy and explore the boundaries of what our relationships with our Chinese partners and coworkers can bring, we need to understand the culture. And our culture is like this, and theirs is way out there down the hall. There's a huge difference between our values, our beliefs, our behaviors, and ours. And I know this because when I was 16, I started studying Chinese. I earned a degree in contemporary Chinese history. In 1985, I went to China. I stayed there. I married the first Chinese man I met. I stayed in the Chinese family for 18 years. I lived in China for 18 years. It's been a while. I've done nothing with my career except work with the Chinese, bridge the gap that keeps American business and Chinese organizations from understanding each other better. I've spent my life explaining America to the Chinese and vice versa. And I'm hoping that my 20+ years of experience is going to translate into some tools that all of you can take away today, put to work in your day-to-day lives. Working with these people and communicating with them, you have to understand that they see themselves as patriotic and important, that they're the real China, that the foreign invested sector could come and go, that the private enterprises could come and go, but they're the real China, they're the backbone, they're where the real Chinese patriots work, the people who care about their country. They see themselves as being they're in a very secure position because they're government owned, they're not going to go out of business, they're not going to face too much instability or risk. And the higher level people in this company have a chance of moving into politics at some point. They may well be tapped for bigger things. And of course, they're going to have a lot of really strong government connections as the 14th largest, as number 14 on the Fortune, number 14 of the Chinese companies in the Fortune 500. So they've got a lot of government connections. They see themselves as the rightful heirs of China's economic riches. So it's nice that Procter & Gamble and Colgate and Walmart are making tons of cash in China, but they'd kind of like to focus on how much cash they're making in China. So that's just a little bit of orientation.